All right, everyone, in today's video, I'm going to be testing out these two blessing stones, INTUIT and lightning speed. Throughout the course of the video, which I've already recorded, I tell you all the numbers as we go. I don't track things on Notepad, but if you follow the video, you'll know. And then in conclusion, at the end, I kind of explained what I thought, but I'll explain it in the very beginning also. So the way by the way, you're going to see the way I test is similar but different than other people. I don't think you have to strip everything off and do all this and that and go to the exact certain location to get this exact number and this exact peak scenario. Like, people test differently. I don't think there's a right or wrong way, as long as you're getting consistent numbers that you can scale off of, which is what I get in this video. So there may be some variance with the way other people's videos look if they did a similar video, but my general conclusion was that I value INTUIT higher, not because it's transcended. It is transcendent, but that's not why. But because of the cooldown reduction that you get from this just by investing in the intelligence stat. I value that much more than I value agility. And the simple reason why is because agility does not scale well. They don't give you a lot of agility here. For 200 points, you're getting just 1,200. Like, that's not bad, right? It's not bad, but just with artifacts on, and this isn't even the peak scenario, I've got nearly 25,000 crit damage, 9,500, right? It just doesn't amount to the same as it would elsewhere. So that's my only gripe with it. Something largely similar happens with attack, of course, but with attack, you can still get the benefit in a different way. Now, attack's tricky because after a certain point, there is diminishing returns. Precision, you want to also get your precision up to 95% plus, right? Or 90% plus, it's varying how much you want it, 80% minimum, right? But that increases your floor, which decreases variance. So there's just a lot here. And I just don't value agility itself very highly. I think you're still just better off and this was largely the case always. So really my general consensus on this was that while I thought it would be cool to run them together, I think they're still better off separately. And ultimately the reason why they're making these is to just give you flexibility. So you don't have to put everything in strength. Like, the full strength build's fine. The strength with like precision at like 200 or like intelligence, so you can run into it. Like, these different variations exist, so you don't have to put everything in strength anymore, which was the meta for like 8 to 10 months. That was the meta, right? So I think that's why, but I don't know that we'll hit a point where you put them together like this because of the diminishing returns effect. And again, I don't really value this one specifically. It'd be a little bit different if it was like defense or perception instead of agility. But yeah, I don't value this one. That's just me though. Maybe you value it differently than I do. I just never value the agility stat. And maybe we get to a point where they give us other investment. Like, I don't know, like you get a precision increase based on defense investment. Like, they can mix it up. I think attack increases, again, are nice and they look nice. They look cute. But I just don't think that it's doing everything that you want it to do, because the damage, again, only scales up to a point, right? So that's where it's a little tricky, but you guys are going to see the numbers throughout the video. Ultimately, though, again, one more time, I don't think they're meant to be ran together. I think and then the last thing on this too, I talk about all this throughout the video. The last thing on this too is that I think you're also leaving meat on the bone if you're running them together, because you are sacrificing a slot for a better blessing stone that adds a whole other layer to your fight, boss slayer or something like that, or bloodlust. Like, you're reawakening. You're sacrificing a slot that could be a huge variable in your fight for just more attack. Like, I know attack is good, right? But I think you're wasting a little bit of space. But overall, though, if I were to drop one, it's lightning speed. If they were both transcended, it would still be lightning speed. But hope you all enjoy, and let's dive in. If you haven't already, make sure you support through the creator program, link down below for free codes. Thank you so much. Here we go. All right, so we're going to test this out in the guild boss. I took all my artifacts and cores off, so we're just seeing flat stats for Sung Jinu as the investment overall. So crit rate, all that stuff is basically just normal numbers. Now, here's the thing that's a little bit different that's going to skew this a little bit. So firstly, this is a critical focused one. So obviously, you have to keep in mind that as we use this one more throughout the duration of the battle, we're going to land more opportunities for critical hits, and we're going to obviously do more damage as a result. So I'd assume that that one peaks very highly with the agility investment. However, the cooldown, that you get from investing in intelligence does make a difference too, right? So I think we may be trending in a direction where you're putting them together and not investing so heavily in strength. And I actually really can't wait to see the perception version of this, because I think that's going to be really interesting, where it's like invest so many points in precision and get that extra damage, right? Because it's just going to show you that your stats are much higher, or your damage is going to be much higher, because your floor is going to go up a ton as well. So we'll see. But for now, what I'm going to do is we're just going to trigger the 200 bonus. It's a little bit uneven, admittedly, because I should bring up precision, but I'm not going to. It's a little bit uneven because I have them at different rarities. I can't, well, like, I guess I could forcefully try to buy this, but I'm not going to spend the hundreds of dollars. Probably I need to do that. Just for this one test. So I'll put that agility there, and that means we're gonna get the full 1200 attack stat gain. Again, attack stat, not basic attack like people were thinking with INTUIT initially, because the stupid typo. And so what that means is that while it doesn't reflect the attack stat here, when I go into battle, it should show it. So assuming that the attack stat didn't change already, I again should invest in precision up to a point. I'll push precision to 99. I don't like doing a lot of different tests, because I think tests can be like, how do you want to do it, right? There's so many different ways to show a certain thing. But I'll push precision to 99 and we'll go from there. Precision 95, and this should do it right here. So okay, let me do 2-3 more. I'm not going to invest any more in attack or anything. Ugh, seriously? Seriously? Okay. There you go. Nice. All right, so I pushed it to 99. 200. Perfect. So there are some residual points left over. I'm going to leave it. So we're going to go into the guild boss fight with that. 274 power. Oh, okay, it's still got these artifacts on. Let me pull those off. It's this like preset saving across, I guess. Okay, so 100 power. That's perfect. All right, let's go in and we'll see what we do with this first hit. We're just gonna do one. We're also gonna try to, we're gonna see the baseline, but we're gonna try to trigger a critical as well. This goes in with a core attack there. 130 non-crit, so I'm assuming the number is gonna be relatively close to 130 the entire time. That's typically how it goes. And again, if I were to extend the duration of this, we'd get much more variance and a lot more numbers, but that's not what I'm going for. Yeah, 131. So it's going to be around that number the entire time, which shows you the baseline. Again, that number will go much higher with attack investment. With attack investment, it probably shoots close to 590, 600 in that area. 130 again. So I just need to get a critical hit. Oh, wait, actually, no, this is, never mind. This is the INTUIT version, isn't it? I don't even know which one I'm using right now. I'll still get the crit though, just to keep things even. 130 again. Just, I like this one too because we start off with a full core attack, so it just works out pretty well. Don't have to worry about doing any basics or anything. Just can't trigger a crit. just can't get a crit. The crit rate is so low, I just can't get a crit. So we're gonna do this one, and if it's a crit, great. If it's not, I'm gonna pause it until we get a crit. Yeah, okay. I'll be right back. All right, so I finally got a crit. 196,000. Technically you could do the math on that and come up with the crit number, but I'm not good at math. So 196. All right, so roughly around 200. So yeah, like I was saying, with attack investment, and I meant to mention with the artifacts in, it's probably around 600 base attack, which means it'd be what, 1.4 ish critical, something like that. Okay, so we're gonna get out of here. We're now gonna set up the other version, but 130, 190, not bad. And then we're gonna finish off with them both together. I'm curious about that as well. Oh man, it took forever to get that, and that was the freaking, that was the crit one. Oh no, this is gonna be terrible. All right, so like I was saying, the trick here is that I don't have the same rarity. I can still do, I think, 200 on this and have it be the same. What's the math on this? No, the number goes up. It's by 7 instead. Yeah, okay, so it's okay, so I'd have to I get this at 1200. Yeah, the maximum boost is 1200. So what's the investment? 1200 divided by 7 should do it. That's what I need. 1200 divided by 7 should do it. That's 171. Okay. So I need to actually push this to 171 to have it be equivalent to make up for the difference. That should do it. So we'll do that. So we'll go 161 and then that extra 10, of course. That should do it. I forgot the number for the precision, but I know it was like 150 or something like that. So, or 135. I'll go 135 to start. Let's see. 96. Okay. Cool. Seven. So I'll go 2 more. That should do it. Right? 90. Man, you hate me. You hate me. You absolutely hate me. You hate me with a burning passion. Holy crap, you hate me. There you go. All right. So that should keep things relatively equal to make up for the difference in stat gain. But if I pushed intelligence to 220 like it wants, I would just peak much higher. So we're not going to get criticals. Wonder if I can get critical rate just to make it more likely, but not get the stat gain. I don't need an attack gain. I just need critical rate. That's it. Well, I guess this is the wrong one to go to. Let's see if I can find critical rate for Sung. Okay, that's fine. I can put this on because it's boosting my defense, and that doesn't matter a ton. That'll just help offset the fact that, I don't know, it's incredibly hard to land critical hits as it is. So there's that. And this won't be impacted because this requires agility. Perfect. Okay, that's perfect. Let's see if I can land a critical here. $130 again. Yeah, so the attack gain, so that's to be expected. And I expect the critical number to be relatively the same as well, for the record. If the attack number is the same, the critical should be the same. So that's kind of showing you where the attack gain from these, the point of this is to show you that the attack gain from these does add up like that. So if you get to a point where you're investing, let's say, the full 200 in both, which we're going to do next, you're going to see obviously a higher result. That won't be much easier to show you as well. You're going to see a much higher result because you're just going to get so much more attack. I'm only going to do this a couple more times. Now that I know the base is 130, the critical should be roughly the same. It's going to do a little bit less damage, right? It's going to do a little bit less damage because less critical damage, I guess, but still. Terrible. Okay, let's see if we get it this time. That missed. Great. That's beautiful. I'm going to pause it. All right, so yeah, as expected, I thought it would be a teeny bit lower, but the critical still went around roughly the same number. Of course, we're only taking a single hit sample size into consideration, so there is variance with that. But for the most part, it should be generally consistent, but the variance comes from buffs, debuffs, etc. But then even if there is variance otherwise, it's going to be minor variance, like the attacks, like, you know, they're 130, they're 132, or like, you know, they're just minor variants. All right, so I'm going to actually now just put everything together. We're still going to leave the artifacts off, but we're going to put the agility and intelligence investment on. We're also going to push my INTUIT to the max. That's what we're going to do next. So we're going to push this to 220. That's where this needs to be. So that should, we're going to push this to 220. Whoops. I'm used to going to 200. So we need 190 here. And see, there's only 100 points left over. So what's going to have to happen here is, okay, let's just say we take the precision off. What's going to have to wind up happening here is that you're only going to be able to use a few of these at a time until Sung, because the rest of this you want to put in attack. Until Sung, well, maybe, I guess. Maybe, because the attack gain is so high with these two on. You're getting over 2,000 attack just from this. And then the 1,200 and then what, 1,500, 1,600? And then the benefits of the actual investment in agility and intelligence, the cooldown crits and stuff. I was going to say until Sung levels up more to get more points, which they're obviously, you know, kind of keeping the points at a relatively low number, excuse me. All right, let's see what we get just from our base hit here. 148. Okay, so that's the attack gain kicking in, of course, and this will scale to a much higher number when we put our artifacts on. So here's a fun thing. You know how I was talking about the 590-ish numbers? I did do some testing, and those numbers weren't random. I was telling you how it scales to like 590. I actually know those numbers by heart because I did this exact video, except decided to do it again, but strip all the artifacts off. So with my full setup of artifacts and cores, with the stuff on, like the, you know, the individual test for precision, and then the other one, it was around 590 to 610 just for the regular hits, and then they were peaking around like 1.9 critical on the 610 one. And so I know the numbers, how they look with that as well. But for the second run, I decided to just strip everything off. So I'm telling you that because I think we're going to do a normal run with like everything on to see the damage variance and all that stuff as well with the artifacts on. After we get our critical number here, which hopefully pops up sooner than later, right? Right, game? Right? 150, 148. It's been in that range, 145 plus in that area. So not as big of a jump as I would have thought. Being that we're getting more attack, and it's not like there's a cooldown to get it. You just get it up front as soon as the battle loads up, right? Assuming it's not bugged or anything. Impossible to get crits. All right, so I did land a crit, and it did spike to 221 with both of them on. So you're seeing that gain much higher there, it looks like. So that being said, I came to the realization also throughout this that you're also seeing precision. Precision made it to a point where it took all the variance off, which is why people put precision on. It raises your floor by such a high threshold, right? That's what the 99 is for. And it just raises your threshold so much. But all right, now that we've got that, this is where things get tricky, because I don't think, to my point earlier, you can run a set like this the way I'm currently built. I don't think you can do this with certain setups, like DKD, for example. I wonder if its attack stat passive triggers based off of these. That would require additional testing unless somebody's already tested that. Let me know. But I'd assume that it's reading off the base stat, you know, prior to loading up, like whatever you're invested in, you know, in his stats page. So let me know off that. I'm not really sure. The auto equip should put in some solid stuff. Cool, that's fine. And I'll just shift this a page back. Cool. All right, so let's see how that made us look. He doesn't have anything on here though. The preset stuff's kind of funny. It's a little bit wonky, I'll admit. It's a little wonky. Okay, so it did put these on, but it didn't put the other ones on. That's great. 34,000. Okay, it's the attack number. And the precision, you guys saw it. The critical, those are the numbers. And yeah, okay. So now let's run it with that and see how the numbers look. It should be much easier to land criticals as well. The damage is going to skyrocket now with full gear on, as you'd imagine. Yeah, 602 now. Okay, so I told you the floor was around 590 with just with the investment in INTUIT, and then it was around the same number, you know, when I was doing these individually. So it's roughly the same, ironically. It's roughly the same. I wonder if agility makes a big enough difference critical damage wise, or critical rate damage wise. 602, yeah, because you do get overcrit. I wonder if agility itself makes a big enough like, I can see it with the MP reduction or cooldown reduction and additional MP. But yeah, I wonder if agility is just specifically like too safe of one. And then we're gonna get like a defense one, which is gonna be also kind of a little bit tough to gauge. Yeah, look at that, 1.54. Okay, so yeah, it's roughly around the same number. The other one, the high that I saw was around 1.9, but that was with more attack investment. So maybe the, whoa, what the heck? I accidentally hit the start button. Maybe the trick is to take off some precision and put a little bit more attack in there. Maybe you don't need 99% precision. Maybe you need 90 and go from there. But with these two on, I think that works out pretty well. I guess live I can do this. I'll take that off. Just while we're here, I can show you what things kind of were looking like. Let's try. 220, 180, and the rest attack. Okay, we'll go 173. Uh, 220, so we'll go 210 here. And then the rest will go in attack. Because traditionally you haven't needed to invest in agility at all, right? Traditionally you haven't needed that, because the artifact gain is just higher. Like the agility number itself, it needs a rebalancing, the way that they calculate that specifically. See, look, I'm still at 1.5 on the critical, right? So that's more what I was talking about. Like I don't know that you need both. Yeah, I think really what it is that agility itself doesn't add a ton. I think that's what we're seeing. It's 1.5 again. I can't get a non-crit now, ironically. I just want to see the non-crit. It's going to be around the 600 number again. But yeah, that's why I said I already had kind of tested something like this. Now, the caveat, there it is. Yeah, 590. The caveat is, like I said, maybe the variance of getting more crit rate, damage and stuff throughout the course of the battle. If you were able to play a battle and have the exact same actions take place the entire time, which is not something you can do, would the overall damage yield be higher? That's the real question, right? And it's hard to really gauge that unless you go through an entire battle and, again, try to run the exact same sequences. I think you can run it up to a point, of course, you know, like your opening sequence, this and that. But after, like, 5 to 10 actions, it's going to be kind of hard to have the exact same things trigger. That's why I decided to just do a single attack, right? So I'll go in and we'll flip this for the other one. Now, the caveat also being there that I get a higher attack yield because that other one was transcended. That was a little bit of a caveat. So what I'll do is I'll reset this one final time. I'll push this to 200, 183, 200 agility. God damn it, this just starts going really fast. We'll go 190. 173 here. And then the rest can go in attack. I'll have a little bit of a higher attack number because the extra 20 points are just floating around. So hopefully that offsets it. But really what's going to wind up happening is it's going to look largely similar. Yeah, 580. So that tells you it's going to look largely similar. Let's see if we can get a critical here.
He's all mine.
And of course, the Transcended one would have a higher attack bonus. That, yeah, 1.5. That goes without saying, right? Like, it's just relatively the same numbers. So, what's the right blend then? That's the really curious one. What's the right blend? What I'm gonna try here, and this is our last thing. What I'm gonna try here is I'm gonna try to push Sung. This is what we're gonna do. And again, I've been leaving those other blessing slots open. I would get higher numbers if I put on the artifacts and stuff. That just shows you that the artifacts, like, you don't have to take those off to test your stuff. It just removes a little bit more variance if you want that. But that's why I said, like, in the beginning, my training style is a little bit different because I know, or testing style is a little different because I know different people do it a little differently, right? It just kind of depends how you want to do it specifically. There is no right or wrong way to test something. As long as you're getting consistent number output, then that's all that matters. I wanted, okay, that's fine. 92, I was gonna say somewhere between 90 to 95 precision. I'm curious about that. And then the rest going in attack. The tricky thing with attack is that after a point, there's diminishing returns, which is something I think we're also seeing in this video. Is that there's just maybe diminishing returns. And so maybe the idea isn't to run these together. Maybe it's just for more flexibility. I think that's ultimately what they were trying to do here. See, yeah, we're now a little bit lower because the precision is gone. So without the precision, our floor is lower. So we can peak higher, but our flow is lower. Our floor is lower, excuse me. So we're not gonna have as consistent output. Yeah, see 1.4 there on a critical. Yeah, I think, okay. I think we might have already seen the best version of this. If you happened to want to run them together, I think we've already seen the best version of this. I think it's those two at their max investment for the attack, precision at 99, and then the rest in attack stat investment. I think that's the best version of this. And again, I think INTUIT's still largely a lot better because of the cooldown. The MP is nice too, but the cooldown reduction does make a difference. I think that intelligence is better. And that's just me valuing the stats differently. That's all that really is. Because I don't value the agility stat here at all. It's just not strong enough. It's just, getting 1200 is just not enough. Like, what's my number here? It's just not enough. Like, I'm over 10,025. It's just not enough. So I think if these were like 12,000 instead of 1,200, right? That would matter. I just don't think it's a high enough number. So, okay, final reset because I'm done wasting my gold. And then this is the last thing too. You're doing this, right, to make both of these work. But all the while, you're also sacrificing a blessing stone slot. So could I get better value out of the blessing stone slot? Probably, right? I could probably get much better value out of that blessing stone slot. This needs to be like 150, right? It's like, no, it's actually like 170. It was 173 is, I believe, what it was. Yeah, we're at 99. It was 173. Yeah, I think you're better off not running them both together. But if you are going to run them, I think this was the best setup from recollection. I don't keep a trackpad or a notepad for this stuff. Especially when the numbers are pretty consistent like this. Like, it's not hard to see it. This might be the best. But yeah, I think it's just for flexibility purposes, which leaves me a little bit disappointed because I was like having high hopes for this. Like, I thought this would maybe be a little bit better and it's a cool way to run them together, but it's just flexibility. You don't have to only run like high attack investment. So that's, I think, what they were hit me at the same time. I think that's what they were going for. I just want to see a crit here and then we're done. And that's fair if that's what they were going for, of course. Now, somebody watched this entire video and was like, no, your training method was flawed. Your testing method was flawed. And to that I say, touche, right? If you test differently than me and you come to a different outcome than me, then kudos, congratulations. I like the way I do things. Otherwise, I wouldn't have felt comfortable doing the video, but it was a fun test nonetheless. And regardless, I think we reached a pretty solid consensus. Now, the last thing I'll say is, like I said, are you, wait, what the fuck? God damn it. God damn it. Okay, hold on. We might have just wasted the last like 5 or 6 minutes. Because I'm putting them on, but it's not reflecting here. Son of a gun, man. That's so annoying. Okay. Well, they've got the stat spread I have on now is fine. I was like, dude, the numbers are just getting worse. Like it's not the same.
It's pretty strong.
God damn it. All right, what is it now? Yeah, okay, well, it's gone back to the 590. So it's going to be what we've mostly seen from earlier in the video. So we'll still trigger the stupid crit because the stupid preset thing is not keeping my stuff across. Because now the game does this thing where in whatever stage you're in or whatever mode you're in, it tries to remember what you used last, which is nice. But as you can see, it's kind of finicky. For example, from the actual Sung Jinu page, I can't manage this version of Sung, right? It's not a preset. 1.5. Yeah, it's about honestly, it's not a huge difference. It was critting at like 1.4 a second ago. It's not really a huge difference, despite getting, I don't know, 1,500 more attack. It's not really a big difference. So that's annoying. But regardless, though, oh, maybe I can edit him. Actually, is he like preset 9 or something stupid? Where is he at? I'm curious. He's on preset 1. There's no way this is preset 1. This is garbage. There's no way. This is not preset 1. Where is he at? Looking at Sung's stuff across the top. Yeah, you can't even like this. Anyway, I'm not going to nitpick on this. Yeah, I think that I still come to the same conclusion because we have the stats and all that stuff invested and it's still doing the same thing. Still come to the same conclusion that that's largely the case, that you are in a position where you are sacrificing. I think for the agility one specifically, you're sacrificing a slot that you can get better value out of. I don't feel that way about the other one because I think the value of the cooldown reduction is high. But I do think for the other one, you are specifically sacrificing a slot. I wanted to just come here really quickly and just test against the stupid bear. just to make sure Guild Boss wasn't screwing me over this entire video. So I think that's a pretty solid, like I said, it tries to remember everything. And that's nice. It's just kind of annoying. I don't need any of this crap because I didn't have any on in the Guild Boss. Disband, cool. Artifacts on, the skills don't matter. I'll take off these skills. And we'll put the agility one back on. My stats are going to be the same. That extends across all content. These don't increase attack, so they're whatever. Cores and artifacts. Okay. Yeah. So, oh, well, I do need to switch back to the fire weapons. That's the last thing. Start with the bow. Boom. And do I have an extra bow? Why is it giving me the limit break option? I probably got some extra stuff chilling. I don't know. Maybe that option is just always there. I'm just being stupid. All right. Let's see the difference here. If there is any. I don't expect one. I think the least this game can do is keep those relatively consistent.
Shall we?
Okay. So 150, or no, 590 is what it is, excuse me. And then 1.5. Those are the benchmark numbers.
Is pretty strong.
He's gonna lunge at me, right? Yeah. No shadow step, just gonna throw it. Yeah, 590. Basically, no crit was 590. There's a couple extra basics in there, but it's largely this. It was like 585 or whatever.
Well, then.
Which means the crit should be about the same. One more time, just for good measure. I'll try to hit him before he does the stupid jump. Or maybe I'll just run out of the circle. Oh, that was cute. Nice. Damage taken decrease, okay. Yeah, 580. So, whatever. All right, guys. Like I said, in conclusion, I think it's good. The one thing I'll say that I've said a few times over the video is, are you, in the duration of a fight, getting the value out of agility, giving you just a smidge more crit damage? Like, does that make you do another extra 100,000 in a full fight? I don't know. I can't tell you that. I don't assume that's the case. I think that above all else, you still want intelligence on. And I think you still want the attack investment on as well. So that way you're getting the benefit. Because again, 1,200 points there you can make that up by just putting those 200 here, right? That's kind of the difference, right? What's 200 points amount to in the attack stat? Let's see. Okay, so just a smidge less. It's giving me plus 1,020. Just, it's not a huge difference. So ultimately, I think that's what they're going for, which is why these were designed the way they are. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe, of course, for more content. This was definitely pretty fun, though. I don't do these very often, so definitely a pretty fun thing to do. But I'll admit, a little bit underwhelmed by lightning speed. I was hoping it'd just fit a little bit better. Maybe it's just because the agility stat, that's all. I just think the agility stat needs a rework, but they're not going to do it. So it is what it is. And maybe, like if we get the I'm looking forward to the precision one of these. Wait a minute, what about the attack one of these? There is diminishing returns, though. That's another thing too. But the precision one I think would be nice, so that way you don't have to put anything beyond like a certain point. What about attack increases? No, you get precision increases for attack investment, like the reverse. I think that would be really good. That would be great. That would actually be amazing. So that way you can invest in attack and not worry about precision. You could just put this on. All right, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the video. I'll see you all later.